and this is my wife, Alice. I've been on the fire department for more than 8 years. I like my job. I think I'm a pretty good fireman, too. But the thing that scares me the most is a false alarm. And I think about all the hard work, the training, the book work, and the effort that it goes into become a good fireman. And then to go out and get hurt on a false alarm, I think this is a waste. I've been hurt. But when I'm well and when Doc says I can go back to work, I go. Because I'm proud of my job.
A fireman's life begins here, on DeKoven Street, where Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked the lantern which started the great Chicago fire of 100 years ago. A sculpture reminds us of that unhappy event. Now the Fire Academy stands at 558 DeKoven Street, where rookies are taught the serious business of fighting fires. And it is a most serious business. You have to know how to scale a Pompier ladder quickly and safely if you're to get there in time to rescue someone who is trapped by the flames. Yes, it's serious business, even if it may look like fun to those who watch on the ground. But if you're climbing that ladder, you don't look down, because the ground is far, far below. The ladders go up about 50 feet into the air, and that's about the size of a 5-story building. The 50-foot ladders are the short ones. Longer ladders extend about 144 feet, or to the top of a 14-story building. And the ground is a long way off. A very long way off. And it's a good idea to buckle your safety belt. A rookie has to learn to trust his equipment. The equipment is good. It does the job. Rookies spend 2 months at the academy getting in shape physically and learning to use the equipment. A lot of firefighters come back to the academy for refresher courses and to learn new techniques. A fireman has to learn to use his equipment almost without thinking, because you don't have time during a fire to ask how to turn that nozzle. Seconds are too important to be lost during a fire. A life depends on how well you know your job. If you're a fireman, you depend on your buddies. You stake your life that they know their jobs, and they depend on you. Don't worry, your buddies are holding the net. You can trust them. It's a long climb up, but a real quick trip going down. Happy landings. Nothing to it, if you know how. At the Chicago Fire Academy, a rookie spends a lot of time in class, too, learning the insides of a pumper and how it works, and learning about fire alarms. You have to pay attention. There's no chance to ask questions when you're trying to put out a fire. And always you're learning about equipment to protect you, so you don't end up looking like bonehead here. You can't be a bonehead and stay in the fire department. You have to study harder than you ever did before. But it's fascinating new things you learn about fire extinguishers, safety glass, chemicals to use in fighting certain fires. And always you want to know more about the equipment you'll use every day. Axes, gas masks, battering rams, hydraulic jacks, crowbars, and even the screwdriver and pliers. And you can't get it all in class. So you go to the library and read. And perhaps you think of what assignment you'll get in the department. Maybe you want the Marine Division, and you'd like to be assigned to one of the large fireboats, or one of the smaller jet boats. The life of the seagoing fireman is exciting and important. Or there's the new helicopter unit. You can really see where the fire is spreading when you have a chopper view. And you can radio down to the firefighters on the ground. You also use the choppers for rescue work, lifting accident victims from clogged expressways. Home for a firefighter during his 24-hour tour of duty is the firehouse. Each firefighter makes his own bed, and he helps to keep the firehouse clean. And he keeps the equipment in top-notch working order. The firefighter also cooks the meals, which usually are nothing fancy, but good, solid, and tasty. And he cleans up after himself. A firehouse must always be neat, with everything in its place. No one rests until the work is done. After the equipment is spotless and shining, then there is time to take it easy. To talk, drill and study, watch the TV, or read. But always the fireman is alert, ready to spring into action, listening for the fire bell or the telephone. Because somewhere a fire may be smoldering, ready to burst out into flames. Someone will see the fire and telephone. And so, even as the firefighter rests, he is listening for the call to action, which can come at any second. The man on watch writes the information on the board as the telegraph ticks it out, or gets the word on the telephone. And he's ready. The shout goes out. It's a run. And every man takes off at top speed, gets his clothes and equipment, slides down the pole if he's on the top floor, and in seconds, everyone is ready and at his assigned place. Jumps into boots, throws on fire clothes. No one has to wait for him. And off they go, racing to the fire. Red light and siren clearing a path. Most motorists know that sound and pull over to the side to make room for the hook and ladder and engines. Firefighters try to get to the fire as quickly and safely as they can. And usually it takes only 2 or 3 minutes from the time the alarm is sounded in the firehouse until the firefighters reach the scene of the fire. The drivers have to know the shortest way to get to the fire, including all the shortcuts and dead-end streets. Once at the scene of the fire, every man knows his job and he does it. The firefighters hook up hoses and quickly size up the situation so they know exactly what to do next. There are many small groups or teams of firefighters, each working together. Not a second is lost. The snorkels are in action, fighting the flames below. And on the ground, other men get hoses and equipment into position. The snorkels were designed by the Chicago Fire Department a few years ago, and they have been a most successful innovation. They have helped firemen put out fires much more quickly than before. But the basic way of putting out a fire still is to pour water on it. And firemen have to get close to the fire and eat smoke. Firefighters are called smoke eaters with good reason. That's why oxygen tanks and masks are needed, to stay alive in the smoke. You risk your life in almost every fire, but no one even pauses for a second, no matter how dangerous the assignment. Holes are chopped or sawed through a roof to let out the smoke, even though the roof may give way. The firefighter risks his life to protect your life. It's as simple as that. When you go out on a run, you don't know what is waiting for you. It may be just a rubbish fire or an extra alarm blaze which will keep you on the scene for 12 hours without a moment's rest. You may get hurt, or worse. But this fire now is under control. There's still work to be done, though, to make sure the fire is completely out. And you have to find out how the fire started in the first place, so we can prevent the next fire from happening. It's hard work fighting fires, and risky work, whether you fight from a snorkel or on the ground. Every fire is dangerous, whether it's only a smoldering mattress or a row of stores blazing in the middle of the night. The smoke can crowd out the oxygen from your lungs and kill you, and the flames can burn away your life. A firefighter is educated and trained for one thing: to fight fires, so he can save lives. Maybe yours.
I'm proud to be a fireman, And I'm proud to be a member of this great team.
The films you have seen are actual films taken in fire stations, fire boats, and the Fire Academy. They weren't taken in Hollywood studios. And they are pictures of some of the finest men that have ever entered any organization. These pictures depict some of the duties that our men perform daily. We are proud of these fine men and proud that they are members of a great fire department.